Hi, this is Diarmuid MacGarry, clinical psychologist with St. Michael's House. And on today's World Mental Health Day, I'm here to speak to you about self-care and in particular, finding meaning and positivity in your daily life. So, as we all know, our daily lives are incredibly busy. And here's just a snapshot of some of the things that all of us do during our day. All of us play an important role in our family, or in our home, or in our community. We can be busy working a job. We may be a student in education or attending a course. We may be an active participant in a day service, or we may be a valuable member of a local community group. Many of us partake in important activities several days a week. That might be a sports team, could be a local club, could be a choir, could be a group of friends that you meet with every week to do your favorite hobby. A lot of us have to spend a lot of time traveling every day. And some of us do a lot of cooking or cleaning or shopping or even paying the bills and making sure the household is keeping steady. We also take a lot of time keeping in touch with people, making phone calls, sending texts, emails. Some of us may still write letters even. And some of us even have to mind a pet as well as all that. So I just want you to have a little think for a second and think about the 1,000,001 small things that you are doing every other day on top of all this hard work. And if you take a moment to reflect on and actually acknowledge for yourself how busy your daily life is, and maybe how important it is to insert a gap into that day to make sure that you are looking after yourself and replenishing yourself. So hopefully some of the tips and tricks I talk about today will help you with that very goal of replenishing our tanks and caring for yourself. So the number one thing to focus about in this is thinking about you. How can we restore ourselves and replenish ourselves so that we can engage with our lives to the fullest rather than becoming worn down? And there's loads of ways to do this, and I am sure many of you are already highly skilled in doing certain things that you know fill up your tank every day. But what I'm particularly going to talk to you about today is called the Perma model. And the Perma model is an evidence-based framework aimed at improving our well-being and fostering renewal. So what does that mean? Basically, it means we draw on our strengths in order to revive areas of our lives that need some attention. So the Perma model comes from a branch of psychology called positive psychology, and the acronym itself kind of gives hint to 5 different pillars that if we actively engage with on a regular basis should bring us more engagement with our daily lives and make our daily lives more fulfilling. So these 5 pillars are firstly positive emotion, engagement, positive relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. So the Perma Framework, as I said, has the 5 columns, and each of those interact with each other to help you make your life much more fulfilling, replenishing, refueling. And the great thing about this model is it shows some really good evidence between each of those columns and all aspects of your life. So that means your physical health improves, your mental health might improve, your overall life satisfaction, your job satisfaction, and your overall well-being are all significantly improved. Also, it kind of gets rid of some of the more, difficult parts of life. So burnout is shown to reduce if you actively engage with this model, and psychological stress also reduces as well. So, beginning with the first column, or the first pillar, or the first part of the Perma model, whichever way you want to view it, let's talk about positive emotion. Positive emotion is about finding opportunities to be optimistic about our lives and to try and view the situation that life presents us as positive and constructive. In particular, we want to pay attention to and appreciate the good things about a situation. So what went right? So it's sometimes like kind of flipping our perspective 180, and we look at a difficult situation. Let's say your car broke down, and you say, God, that was really desperate. That made me late for my meeting. Another way of looking at it would be to say, well, what was the positive action you took in that? So did you effectively make sure that the car was safely moved to the side of the road? Did you use effective communication skills to call the roadside assistance? Did you communicate effectively with your boss that you'll be late for the meeting? It's about looking at what were the positive actions you took in every situation. So now that's a rather extreme example, but there are many other situations that you can look at to see, well, where can I take the positive emotion from that? And when we think about positive emotions, we're thinking, of course, of joy, gratitude, happiness, pride, love, inspiration, amusement, excitement, hope, and compassion. All those emotions that fill us up and make us feel energetic or make us feel enthused about life. And one of the important things about trying to bring more positive emotions into your life is to remember that life throws curveballs. Nobody in life has a perfect life, and all of us have to deal with ups and downs. Most of us on a daily basis, sometimes even on an hourly basis. And one of the things that we can do to facilitate us through those ups and downs is just accept that that is a part of life, and reducing our struggle against the difficult aspects of life or the difficult emotions that situations bring. Because difficult emotions are natural and difficult experiences are inevitable. And if we struggle against that reality, sometimes we get into a cycle where we are wasting our energy and wasting our focus on fighting something that cannot be changed. But instead, if we accept that a challenging time can occur, or that we may experience a difficult emotion, we release that energy and we release that kind of mental focus on that, and that frees us up to be optimistic moving forward and to really engage with the positive times and to be able to become refueled and re-engaged from those positive times. So, how do we improve positive emotions in our daily life? Some of it can be reflecting on positive memories. Think of something that made you really happy. Might be a family holiday, might be a night out with friends, it might be some time that you spent with your carer or key worker doing a really favorite hobby of yours. And I want you to name and notice those positive feelings. You might want to write those down, or you might want to draw a picture of those. But have a record of them so you can look at them every now and again and remember the good times. Another positive thing that you can do is practice a bit of gratitude. So that's taking time to acknowledge and appreciate the good in your life. And this can be really small. It could be as small as, I'm really grateful that there was tea in the house today so I could have a lovely cup of tea. Or it could be really big. It could be, I'm really grateful that I am reached the age of 50 and I can have a big party with all my friends. There are moments that we can express gratitude for every day. And by trying to channel that mindset, you'll actually find that there's more and more things that you're grateful for over time. And how do we improve positive emotions in our daily life? Another few ideas. Take time to consider people, places, and things that have promoted positive feelings in your life, and try and incorporate more of these experiences in your week. If you're finding that difficult, make a schedule and make sure to schedule it. All of us have our lives are really busy, and it can be very, very easy to put away or not put emphasis on the things that bring us joy. Whereas in fact, maybe it's more important to fill your weeks with those, because they will get you through the difficult parts of your week. Make sure to have fun, do something that brings you joy, and foster positive habits like going for a daily walk or chatting to your friend on the commute. Maybe put down the phone for 10 minutes during lunch and just have a look outside, or try and connect with the nice nature that might be around you. And be mindful of time spent consuming upsetting or worrying content. If you're finding that the news or social media is getting you down, maybe reduce it for a while. Try and focus on stories that are more positive or more meaningful to you at this time. Other ideas are making time for humor and fun. Having a laugh and having a smile and a joke and a giggle, or bantering with people, is often one of the best ways to bring positive emotions into your daily life. Acts of kindness can be really, really good way too of showing gratitude, expressing positive feelings, and making another person feel positive feelings. And again, these can be really small things. It might be paying a compliment to a person for helping you, or for a piece of work they've done. It might be buying a bar of chocolate for someone. Just really small acts of kindness can really bring positive emotions to you and to other people. Now, of course, bringing in positive emotions can be trickier at times than others. And there may be times that you are kind of stuck in a place where activating positive emotions for yourself may not be possible, or you may feel you need to work through some things before you can feel positive. And that's okay. All of us get stuck on negative emotions at times. So if you're finding it a challenge to focus on positive emotions and you're getting caught up on negative emotions, maybe try one or two of these strategies that I'm going to talk about now. So the first one is called the Unhook. And this is all about just noticing that a difficult feeling has hooked you. So that might be anger, it might be sadness, it might be anxiety or fear, it might even be jealousy. And don't judge yourself for having those emotions. We all get them. They're all a part of normal day life. But instead of getting stuck or fighting with it, or getting, just feeling that this mood or this emotion will last forever, what you should try is to name that feeling and just use the simple sentence, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling afraid, I notice that I'm feeling angry. I notice that I'm feeling afraid. And this is different to saying I'm angry or I'm afraid, because putting that couple of words between it, such as I notice I'm feeling angry, allows you to get some distance from the feeling. And that unhooks you from the feeling. You are much more than just this negative feeling. The negative feeling is just a small part of you that's active at the moment, but there's a whole bigger part of you surrounding that feeling. So what you do is you unhook yourself, and then you refocus on whatever activity or task that you need to do. For other people, they may like to use this technique instead, and that technique is called making room. So the first thing you do is again to notice the feeling. Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it fear? And then you try to imagine the feeling as an object. So you may say, oh, it feels like a circle or a ball. So name the feeling. Okay, so here is sadness, and sadness is like a ball today. And allow the feeling to come and go like the weather. So don't fight it. Just notice that sadness ball coming and going, up and down. And as you breathe, imagine your breath flowing in and around that ball of sadness. And gradually over time, you'll notice that your breath is getting bigger and bigger around it. And you feel bigger and bigger around that sadness. And it will move through you, and you will move past it. So, moving on to the second pillar, engagement. So, as Albert Einstein once said, time flies when you're having fun. And that's basically what engagement is all about. Engagement is finding an activity that we enjoy, where we become completely immersed, lose track of time, and fill our bodies with these really pleasant chemicals called endorphins that enhance our well-being. And the wonderful thing about engagement is that it can happen in any area. It just depends on your interests. It could be art, it could be reading a book, it could be playing sport, it could be doing art, it could be building something, it could be doing an interesting project in work. It's really, really individual, and it can be achieved in a variety of means for different people. But the great thing about it is that it encourages clarity, focus, and calm. So, how do we improve our engagement? Firstly, we need to notice what activities do we get completely absorbed in that allow us to switch off and to forget about our worries. What activities leave you feeling fully fulfilled and energized? That you just say, God, you started, and about half an hour later you said, God, I felt like I was only doing that for 2 minutes. Take notice of times when you've got into a state of flow. So that's when you're really engaged with something. And identify the task that you're doing at the time. And make sure to prioritize and schedule that activity into your week a few times so you can build up that feeling of engagement and immersion. Another way to help with this is to practice mindfulness and paying attention to the present moment. That's the great thing about engagement and mindfulness. It takes you out of your past worries and future worries into the present moment. And that's all you can deal with at any time. And again, focus on your strengths and apply them. Do the things you excel at. So, bringing more engagement into your daily life. Consider the areas within your daily life that you feel completely engaged with. Make sure you make more time for those. Consider your strengths and interests and make sure you bring more and more of those into your daily life. And when you are doing other aspects of your life, can you incorporate those areas of interest, those strengths, those times that you feel your engagement is highest in with those other activities? So, for example, do you love music? Maybe the next time you and your children are doing an activity that they're really engaged with, such as painting, maybe you can also build your engagement in it by turning on the radio and making sure some of your favorite songs are going. And in that way, you are both finding meaningful engagement in an activity that's part of your daily lives. A third and very important pillar of the Perma model is relationships. And for all of us, connection and relationships are essential in living a fulfilling and meaningful life. We have always needed to feel like we're part of a group, and that might be a family group, it might be a friendship group, it might be a wider community, it could be a school group, it could be a football team. But the important thing is that relationships provide connection to others. They give us emotional support. They make us feel safe. They give us access to trust and respect. And all these different things are vital to engaging our sense of well-being and providing a sense of belonging. So again, how do we make sure that we have these really important relationships in our lives and in our daily lives? Again, I'm asking you to pay attention to your life as it is at the moment and to notice what are the relationships with others that make us feel our best. What are the ones that are supportive and give you feelings of being re-energized and valued? And make sure you prioritize those relationships. Spend time with those individuals each week, or even give them a phone call every day if time allows. Join a group that interests you, or get in touch with people you have not connected with in some time, but you know really care for you and really make you feel good about yourself. Reconnect with that old friend that you always had a great laugh with. Or maybe it's your favorite auntie that you always had a great time with growing up. The important thing is that the relationship makes you feel safe and it makes you feel special. The fourth column, or the fourth pillar of the Perma model, is meaning. And all of us want to feel that the stuff that we do in our daily lives, our actions, the jobs, the time we take to write an email or send a text, are worthwhile and valuable. And most of us like to feel that we're contributing to something bigger than ourselves. And that can be different to loads of people. For some people, spirituality and faith is really important in their lives. For others, it's being a parent. For others, it's caring for a relative or giving back to the community. Some people are really active in politics and feel that serving a political party is their way of giving back. And others are really passionate about their profession and seeing that as a great way to improve the lives of others. It really doesn't matter what it is But the important thing is that it's meaningful to you and it aligns with our values. So our values are things, and the values are things in our life that we hold most dear. So do you value being honest? Do you value being a hard worker? Do you value being kind? So making sure you find what is meaningful for you and what aligns with your values, and incorporating this into your daily life can revitalize us and improve our well-being. So maybe that you were a person who loved going to church and you felt being part of a religious community really made you feel connected, and you haven't had time for that for whatever reason. It may be an idea that you try and reconnect with your faith, and maybe you rejoin a collective group again in celebrating your faith. So, increasing meaning. Again, you need to take stock of your life and consider how you're spending your time. Are you spending more time doing things that are in line with your values or provide you with a sense of purpose? And if you are, that's great, keep it up. But for others, and it might be through no fault of your own, and it might be just due to the demands of life, you may find that actually a lot of your time is spent doing things that aren't in line with your values or don't give you a great sense of purpose, or you kind of feel like, oh, you know, I'm doing the same thing over and over again and just passing time. So if that's the case, you might consider spending a bit of time about, well, what are my values in life and what does give me a sense of purpose? And then making an action plan about how to do that for your life. So that might be getting involved with a cause or an organization that matters to you. It might be just spending more quality time with important people in your life. And again, look at your strengths. And I'm even looking at your strengths and helping others in areas that are important to you, because that might give you a great sense of meaning. Try not to do things for the sake of just doing them. Be sure that it aligns with your core sense of yourself. So some helpful questions to foster meaning in your daily life might be, what kind of person, parent, son or daughter, worker, student, whatever other role you are, do I want to be? What are the qualities or values do I want to bring to my job or the role that I play in my life? And they could be, I want to be a kind parent. I want to be an inclusive member of staff in a day service. Or I want to be a really fair person in my friend group. And maybe spend some time reflecting with your family members or your friends or other important people in your life about what positive impact or difference are you making. And there are opportunities every day to bring meaning into your daily life. You just need to think about how your values align with your responsibilities. And if you're not finding that there's much alignment between them, maybe consider about bringing in more roles into your life that align with your values, and maybe changing some of the responsibilities you have that aren't in line with your values. And then the final part of the model is accomplishment. So we all work best when we're working towards and reaching goals which contribute to a positive sense of well-being in ourselves. And these bring about some of the positive emotions we talked about, like joy, pride, and fulfillment. Reaching our goals motivates us to set future goals and provides us with a sense of purpose. And the really important thing is to remember that committing personal internal goals facilitates bigger goals and external goals. So maybe setting a small goal for yourself to be more productive in work might lead you to getting noticed from your boss, and that could lead to a reward or promotion or extra money. So focusing on meaningful goals for yourself can often lead to much more bigger external goals as well. So again, I'm asking you to take time to take a bit of stock of where you are and what your goals are. Or maybe if you're not having any goals at the moment, maybe consider what goals you'd like to put in. Make sure your goals, though, are realistic and achievable. If you've never run 100 meters, doing a marathon is not realistic. But maybe doing a couch to 1K might be. And following that, you may do a 1K to 5K. And then it's possible to start training for a marathon. So make sure you make small goals and achieve those goals, because those will motivate you to take on bigger goals. Consider the support you need to achieve your goals. You might need a coach, or you might need to schedule some extra time to achieve your goal. So you might need to rely on a family member to take over some of the responsibilities you have. You might need to watch a YouTube video to help you learn. Everyone needs supports with everything in life. So just be sure to notice what supports that you need for your particular goals. Focus on the positive of goals. Remember that making mistakes are part of learning process and they're part of the path to growth. If we all gave up as babies when we were learning to walk because we fell down once or twice, very few of us will be walking today. And mistakes teach us valuable lessons and generally make us into better exponents of the goal we want to achieve. Take time to reflect on your past successes and goals achieved in the past month. Make sure to acknowledge positive emotions such as pride or satisfaction with each achievement. And you know what? Why don't you celebrate your achievements? Share them with your friends. Take the note of it in a journal or reward yourself. So, again, in trying to foster more accomplishment in your daily life, try to make sure that your job, your education, your day service, you have meaningful goals in them. And think of and set goals that you would like to achieve with other people, because sometimes a shared goal can be much more meaningful than just an individual goal. Or if you're in a group, set small goals with a group of like-minded people, and each of you take on a goal, and that can contribute to a much larger goal. And always be sure to acknowledge your accomplishments and achievements with others. Acknowledge the accomplishments and achievements of other people and celebrate those together. So, remember, how do you apply the Perma model to your life? Try and fit in each of the 5 pillars, because each of them will facilitate another positive part of well-being. So, try to adopt a positive perspective as often as you can to get those positive emotions going. Make sure to schedule your life with things that make you happy and engaged. Focus on relationships that have the most meaning to you. And prioritize those in your life. And make sure you have time to connect with those people. Make sure you live a life with meaning and try and have purpose with your life. But don't worry if you can't find it at the moment. There is always something there. It just may take a little bit of time to uncover. But you will get there. And then be sure to savor your accomplishments and strive for further achievement. Thank you all very much for taking the time out of your busy lives to listen. And I hope this is maybe the beginning of a goal for yourself to set a little bit of a focus on bringing more renewal and meaning to your lives. And just to remind you, there's a load of information on the main services and supports in SMH, and you can visit those on the link below. And in particular, on mental health day, there are some great resources been put up on the Wellbeing pages and the activity hubs, so do take a look at those. And for those of you who are interested in some of the models that we talked about today and would like to do some further reading, there's references there that are really, really helpful. And in particular, the World Health Organization link at the very bottom of this page really does give some great ideas about managing your stress and making sure that you can overcome your stress and really engage with the Perma model that we discussed today. So thank you all, and I wish you well for the rest of the day and the week going forward. Thanks.